As law enforcement officers, we're called upon to conduct many tasks in the line of duty.
Our response to recent critical incidents has been phenomenal.
Your efforts have proven that statewide, we have very well-trained and professional police and sheriff agencies in Wisconsin.
Leaders in law enforcement all over the state would like to address an area where our departments can improve.
Pedestrian accessibility and traffic safety.
That means improvement both in enforcement of and compliance with traffic laws.
Frequent citizen complaints against law enforcement agencies focus on two main issues:
Failure to enforce traffic laws and failure to comply with them in non-emergency situations.
Obviously, there are legitimate reasons police don't always abide by traffic laws.
Law enforcement officials are frequently responding to emergency situations. On a call, one moment can make the difference between life and death.
On the other hand, officers are not always responding to emergency calls. Remember, when driving in non-emergency situations, law enforcement officials must abide by the same traffic laws that apply to other drivers. We should set the example. Here are some things we can do.
Travel the speed limit. It sounds simple, but have you noticed when you drive 65 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, the majority of the cars keep pace with you? Motor vehicle crashes are the #1 cause of death and injury in the state of Wisconsin. A recent national study linked the high rate of traffic fatalities and injuries to a general tolerance by law enforcement, allowing vehicles to travel 5 to 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limits.
If we slow down, more drivers will become aware of their own speeds, especially when they debate whether or not to pass a police car.
If you see a car starting to pass you, look at the driver and indicate to them to slow down.
Stop for yellow and, of course, red lights. A good general rule for yellow signals is if you see the light turn red while you are still in the intersection, you probably could have stopped. The next time you go through a yellow, watch how many cars follow you through. How many of them should have stopped?
Stop for pedestrians when you see a pedestrian starting to cross the street, and start slowing down to give them a safe space to cross. Use your turn signal and do not interfere with the flow of traffic in a non-emergency situation.
When we fail to comply with these very laws that we are enforcing, people in the community see a double standard, or worse, a hypocrisy and a division between us and them.
Traffic safety is a priority for law enforcement. Let's take the time to educate the violator, either with a citation or, if en route to a call, a warning. Even if all we do is to let them know that we notice a violation, we can make a difference.
Pedestrian safety has become a major concern throughout the state. In this section, we discuss some of the state statutes that apply to pedestrian safety.
Frequently, collisions between vehicles and pedestrians or cyclists are caused by a failure of drivers to yield proper right-of-way. State Statute 340.01(75) states that the operator of a vehicle is required to reduce speed or stop if necessary to avoid endangering, colliding with, or interfering in any way with a pedestrian travel. Additionally, State Statute 346.24(1) says that if in an intersection or crosswalk where traffic is not controlled by a traffic control signal, the operator vehicle shall yield the right-of-way to a pedestrian or cyclist in a manner in which is consistent with the safe use of the crosswalk by pedestrians.
A common excuse from violators is that they weren't sure whether the pedestrian was trying to cross the street. If the pedestrian is in the street within the crosswalk area, either crossing or showing intent to cross, the vehicle must stop to allow the pedestrian to cross the street unimpeded.
Keep in mind that a crosswalk can be either marked or unmarked. Surveys indicate that most drivers already know that they are supposed to yield to pedestrians. We now need to step up the enforcement.
Ma'am, do you realize you almost hit those two pedestrians in the crosswalk back there? You're required to yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. You're lucky that I'm on my way to another call right now, or you'd be receiving a citation from me from up over $100. We have way too many pedestrians for you to be driving like that. Please yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk.
State Statute 346-24, Parent 3, states that when a vehicle is stopped at an intersection or crosswalk to permit a pedestrian or bicyclist to cross the roadway, the operator of a vehicle approaching from the rear shall not overtake and pass the stopped vehicle.
A common excuse for motorists who pass a vehicle stopped for pedestrians is that they did not see the pedestrian crossing, but that typically means they were not paying attention or were trying to beat the pedestrian to the intersection. If the driver of the vehicle passes a vehicle stopped for a pedestrian, they are in violation of the statute. Another common hazard for pedestrians is for vehicles failing to stop prior to the crosswalk or stop signs.
State Statute 346, Parent 2, regulates where vehicles are to stop for arterial stop signs. It states that if there is a clearly marked stop line, the vehicle shall stop prior to the line. If there is no stop line, the vehicle shall stop immediately before entering the crosswalk. If there is neither a stop line, marked or unmarked crosswalk, or if the view is obstructed after stopping for the stop line or crosswalk, the operator of the vehicle shall stop prior to entering the intersection at a location where the operator can efficiently observe the traffic on the intersecting highway. Drivers must stop at the indicated location and look for both intersecting vehicle and pedestrian traffic before resuming travel.
Vehicles entering or exiting driveways, alleys, or parking lots are a common hazard to pedestrians in both commercial and residential areas. State Statute 346.47 requires that operators of a vehicle stop prior to moving on the sidewalk when exiting alleys or areas other than a highway. Those areas include driveways and parking lots.
Some of us may not realize that the driveways of public schools are considered highways and all traffic laws such as stop signs and speed for conditions are enforceable.
One of the most common incidents of motor vehicle pedestrian crashes occurs when vehicles are turning. Crashes can occur while making left or right-hand turns at both controlled or uncontrolled intersections.
There are multiple reasons why motorists fail to yield to pedestrians in these situations. They may fail to stop prior to the crosswalk. They may only be concerned with the oncoming motor vehicle traffic and fail to look for pedestrians or bicyclists in the sidewalk. Or they may fail to look in the direction they are traveling before proceeding with the turn.
When you see these types of driving behaviors taking place, take the time to stop and talk with the driver. If a citation is warranted, issue it. If not, offer a warning. If you are on the way to a call and witness a violation, take a moment to let the violator know you saw them. Indicate to them the right behavior. Remember, if we fail to respond to violations, we may be perceived as condoning the behavior.
Research shows that modeling desirable behavior is a powerful tool in changing habits.
You are in a position of leadership in your community to help change the driving culture and to create a safe environment for everyone.
This message
is for all of us in law enforcement.
All of us.
All of us.
Whether we are from big cities,
Big cities,
or
small towns,
we have a responsibility
We have a responsibility in keeping our streets safe.